Hi, I am John Orsini with BSHM Architects. Tonight, the design team will review with you the design development phase of the project. The design development phase is an interim check between the schematic design and the construction documentation phases. The name appropriately describes the stage of the design. It develops from the schematic concept into a more refined and articulated architectural idea. This is where we develop the design in detail by integrating building adjacencies with building systems and materials. This phase included conversations and meetings with the district administration, school administration, staff, and students to further understand the school and community.
Good evening, this is John Thomas from Thomas & Williamson. Tonight I would like to present an update which addresses our latest effort in monitoring the cost and schedule for the project. The information that I'm presenting is based on the 100% design development documents. This table contains a summary of the cost estimates that were completed for the design development phase. I have segregated the work into two primary categories of work: the building construction and the site construction. I have also provided those costs in two components: the hard costs, which are the estimates of what the contractor's bids will be, and the soft costs, which are the costs budgeted for professional fees, contingencies, permits, approvals, testing and monitoring, movable fixtures and equipment, printing, advertising, and other miscellaneous project-related expenses. The estimated hard cost of the building is $67,099,856. The estimated hard cost for the site work is $17,531,317. The total of the soft costs is $13,598,238. The combination of the hard and soft costs amounts to a total project cost of $98,229,410. The timeline that is shown on this slide is my first draft of the construction schedule. I have outlined the overall logic and have included the time required to implement the construction. Overall, the construction is scheduled to span the period from late March 2024 through late December of 2026, an overall duration of 34 months. You will note that I have assigned durations to the major categories of work. Those durations are in working days. The overall concept of the schedule is that the work will be included from the lowest areas of the site to the highest areas. Accordingly, one of the first steps will be to perform some off-site drainage work. This will enable the contractors to surround the site with erosion and sedimentation controls. Once the entire site is stabilized and secured, the bulk grading work will commence. I have called this phase Site Work Phase 2, Bulk Grading. Generally speaking, the bulk grading will move rock from the highest parts of the site to the lowest parts of the site. There will be several iterations in which rock will be removed, processed, and then used as fill material. Most of the fill is associated with the construction of the access road, which will enter the site from the first bend on Camp Meeting Road and then rise to the highest level of the site. There will be slightly over 1 year of site work preceding the building construction. The foundation work will commence upon establishment of the building footprint. The construction of the building will also occur from the low to the high. Accordingly, the area that I have labeled low side, the gymnasium and auditorium wings, will start first. And at the point at which the lower foundations are complete, the high side will commence. From there, the overall building sequences will continue to follow this low then high pattern. At the point at which the exterior walls near completion, another Site Work Phase 3, will commence. The phase will include utility installation, sidewalks, curbs, and landscaping, the category I call the site finishes. This work will have a finish-to-finish relationship with the work of the building and will be ready for occupancy in January of 2027.
During this phase, the team refined the site plan and its components. The site has two entry points. one near Beaver Road and the other near the Quaker Heights neighborhood. The entry sequence and roadways were designed to provide separate locations for student drop-off and parking, as well as bus drop-off. Each has its own location, which limits cross-traffic of buses and pedestrians. In addition, the site includes amenities such as secure student exterior teaching spaces, a secure exterior area adjacent to the cafeteria, and a student lawn for gathering. The site includes a pedestrian spine linking the various site elements to the main entry. The student and staff entry experience allows them the opportunity for collaboration with the site and each other, providing a district-specific space complementing the education provided here. The building design and program of requirements, or the teaching spaces within the new school, have been right-sized based on the current and projected use of the building. The right sizing of the building included input from district administration, school administration, and the building's user groups of both teachers and students. The school includes general classrooms and curriculum-specific classrooms. In addition, the new school includes a gymnasium with one competition court in one direction and two courts in the opposite direction. The new performing arts space seats approximately 800 people. Both of these assembly spaces are accessed off of the cafeteria, providing ample space for entrance as well as gatherings after school events. Design includes locations for a future gymnasium as well as future classrooms. Adjacencies and overall layouts complements the direction of collaborative education within the district, allowing for opportunity of growth of staff, students, and community.
Thanks, John. Good evening. This is Ken Serbia with Bowling Swinsky Jackson, and we want to build on the development of the site plan and the school organization and the planning that John was just speaking to by sharing some images that begin to describe a day in the student experience at the new Quaker Valley High School. This view is along the pedestrian greenway and the walk that connects the student, teacher, and visitor parking areas along the ridge of the hill. This walkway is defined by an alley of trees along its south edge that frame the views to the river valley, while providing shade along the stone walls that lead to the west entry of the school. The design for the school continues to develop nested onto the slope along the top of the site. The office and academic wings frame the student lawn on the left of this image, while the larger competition gymnasium and auditorium spaces step down onto the hill to the right. The central walk, stone walls, rain gardens, garden trellis lead up to the covered front porch and a secure entry vestibule. The brick and natural wood ceiling that frame the entry set the warm, authentic, natural qualities that define all of the central heart and student gathering spaces within the new school. As John spoke to in the site plan, the design maintains separate parking and bus entry points for secure access and efficient bus queuing without any cross-traffic. The bus drop-off lane accommodates 15 buses and is defined with landscape islands along the north side of the new school that you see just at the left of this view. The landscape along the academic wings of the building is designed to be both performative, assisting with the stormwater filtration and control, but will also maintain a buffer along the classrooms. The dedicated secure vestibule for this bus entry and exit is also framed by an entry porch with adjacent integrated seating at both the exterior and the interior of the entrance. So let's take a brief tour through the developing design for the new high school and look at it through the eyes of a Quaker Valley student as we walk with them through part of their day. So we start our tour coming off the bus in the morning and kind of entering along the landscaped edge at the north of the building. We've got some exterior seating where we can wait for friends or meet up either before or after school. A vestibule that controls the entry and the access to this point. Wood ceilings carry through to the heart of the building and the other entrances of the building. Open interconnecting stair and adjacent elevator link the two academic levels of the building. The main corridors of the building are articulated with lockers on one side and clear story that allows light into the corridors through the classrooms that we see here. The modular classrooms are all bright, daylit with large, low-glare north-facing windows. These all have operating windows that you see kind of on the right here, where we can get some fresh air to augment the healthy materials that are used throughout these spaces. Dimmable lighting, large teaching working walls with media, storage and teacher storage along the right, and modular furniture that can reconfigure and can accommodate layouts like this for testing or individual seats, as well as group and active learning settings. And here you see more of that active learning arrangement. This furniture is reconfigurable, and so it can be flexible from day to day or activity to activity, or it can adapt based on different class types within these modular classrooms. So as class wraps up, we can turn around and head back out into the main corridor of the academic wing. This corridor, again, has lockers along one side, and then activities, restrooms along the other side. Clear stories allow daylight into these spaces with healthy, durable, bright finishes. Each floor is also articulated with a large, flexible, reconfigurable study and learning space here with small group rooms and study rooms adjacent to that. Classrooms to the left, and then science, engineering, and art spaces here to the right.
So this engineering and robotics space is a modular component along the south edge of the academic bar that at the lower level joins the art and fabrication studios, and at the upper level is all the science and laboratories for the new school. The infrastructure for these spaces stacks nicely, and they are also modular, so they can adapt over time as these technologies evolve. You also see in these spaces that almost everything is on wheels. These are reconfigurable spaces that adapt quickly and are very flexible for the types of teaching that happens in these. In between each of these are support areas, and these have then, in this case, the Maker Center, the fabrication studios, but also then the kilns and the storage, the materials that are needed for these types of rooms. This view at the art room also shows the condition with the overhead garage door, but now open and connected to the outdoor courtyard, the outdoor classroom and assembly and workspaces that are adjacent to all of these rooms. These rooms also can benefit from electrical and data services all fed from the ceilings. This allows a lot of flexibility in terms of reconfiguring, repositioning these rooms, and how they can be used for a number of different teaching activities. So we can take a quick walk from the art room out into the secure courtyard. This is an outdoor classroom space that's really meant to be fabrication, teaching, assembly, also student gathering space that is a mix of landscape and hardscape, suitable for a number of different class activities. You have art, engineering here on the right, with all of science up above you on the right as well. Media center directly in front of us. So at the center of this outdoor classroom area is this student gathering patio terrace, and the media center that you see here. This media center is kind of at the heart of the building, with the main entrance, the bus entrance, and the cafeteria that we'll be walking to shortly. You see again the kind of wood ceiling condition and the natural brick that articulates all of these kind of moments and elements. So this is a space that is an indoor-outdoor space. This is a site where having these spaces connected to secure outdoor spaces will have some real benefit throughout the school year. The media center's here just to the right. This is a space that has all the activity, the library, the gathering, the classrooms, the kind of multi-use that is the center and the heart of the school. This is a space that can be secured after hours, and so we come through these doors. And now we're in the kind of central hall. You see the daylight and the skylight that articulates the whole building and runs through it. Student gallery to the right, student-run cafe to the left. We're kind of at the center of the space, the morning gathering space, where we're going to come before we head to our day. This then enters and cascades down to the main cafeteria, looking back to the river and the valley. This large new multifunction cafeteria is serviced by a new food service area that's just behind us to our left. What you see here on the left is the entrance to the new 800-seat auditorium that John was speaking to earlier. On our right is the new competition gymnasium. So this space is also intended to be very flexible and adaptable, operating as a gathering space during the day, but then also functioning as a pre-function hall for events at either the gymnasium and or the performance auditorium. Similarly, this space comes down and connects back to the outside. And in this case, there's an opportunity to create a southern terrace, also a secure area for students to come outside for either lunch or gatherings or activities during the school day. And so this you see here kind of to the view beyond. So this terrace view has the cafeteria, the pre-function space just to the left. You see again the kind of wood porch element that in this case is on the south side of the building, but that creates a secure outdoor terrace for students to use during the day or for the community to use at events within the school.
At the end of the student school day, the students will either be exiting to the queued buses along the north side of the school where we began our tour, or they'll be participating in after-school activities, practices, rehearsals, in the collection of the performance, training, practice facilities that are both within and adjacent to the building. The same central greenway and walk that leads to the building in the west entrance connects the students out to the practice fields, the tennis courts, the parent pick-up and drop-off loop, and the student parking areas. All of these activities are nested along the ridge with the naturally framed, expansive views to the Ohio River and the valley beyond. Thank you for joining us on this brief tour, and we appreciate your interest in how your new high school will provide a high-quality, holistic educational environment for the future generations of Quaker Valley students. Thank you.